Buddy, you can't see me, but I can see you. Okay. All right, stand by. Let me move this. And I think.
You may have received some email or some text or phone calls that sound too good to be true. And folks, sometimes they are. They are scams. We're going to talk about one scam today that can be emotionally and financially draining, and that's dating scams right here on St. Louis in Tune. Welcome to St. Louis in Tune, and thank you for joining us for fresh perspectives on issues and events with experts, community leaders, and everyday people who make a difference in shaping our society and world. I'm Arnold Stricker, along with co-host Mark Langston. He's got a big grin on his face over there, folks. You can't see that.
Yeah, I know. I'm hiding from the camera. It's better that way.
Your face for radio.
That's right. That's right.
We all have faces for radio.
Mm-hmm. Well, top of the morning to you, or
top of the morning to you too.
Whenever you're listening.
Yeah. So, folks, we're glad that you joined us today. We want to thank our sponsor, Better Rate Mortgage, for their support of the show. If you want to listen to previous shows, you can go to stlintune.com. Please help us continue to grow by leaving a review on our website, Apple Podcast, or your preferred podcast platform. Our return to civility today is something that many people don't do. RSVP promptly to invitations. Waiting until the last minute may give the impression that you're holding out to see if a better offer will come along. You'll also be of great assistance to the person who's planning the event if you RSVP promptly to invitations.
I'm with them. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, why wait?
And that RSVP, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of an abbreviated French thing.
That might be what's wrong with it all, because it's French.
What?
I do not understand.
I didn't understand the invitation.
Hola, no, it's French is comment allez-vous?
Yeah, oui, très bien.
Je m'appelle Marc. I don't something.
Je
like
m'appelle. Right.
I don't know who Je m'appelle is.
That means my name is.
Oh, okay. Je m'appelle. Okay.
I call myself that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But RSVP, I look at your calendar right away. It's on your phone, probably.
I think people, maybe wait for other things, or maybe they just don't plan that far ahead. They plan like an hour ahead or a day ahead.
Oh, I'm lucky to get that far ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm having for lunch yet.
Yeah. Well, we want you to know that waiting until the last minute may give the impression that you're holding out to see if a better offer will come along relates directly to what we're going to talk about today. Online dating scams. Oh my gosh. It's online scamming. And our guest is Patsy Roach. She's an author, blogger. She has a podcast called The Pink Lady Against Scammers, and she speaks about this particular issue. Patsy, welcome to St. Louis in Tune.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
How did you get involved in, going after online dating scammers? How did that all start about?
In the summer of 2016, I was curious. I kept hearing about online dating, not looking for anybody. I'm very happily divorced, not looking, but I'm curious. So I went ahead and signed up as a joke. And right away, I had a guy respond back to me. And it was just a lot of love bombing and sweet talk. And of course, he said he was in the military, which is a big scam, and they always say, oh, I'm on a peacekeeping mission, name that country. And so I didn't know anything. And I just started emailing. His emails would be like really long, like, oh, he's going to be retiring soon. And he wants to, he'll move anywhere he finds the woman of his dreams. My first thought was, well, I don't want you to move here if you don't know anybody. You'll smother me, and I can't stand that, And so anyway, a day or two later, I was at work showing my coworker this guy's picture because, of course, they're good looking. And she goes, is he in the military? And I go, yeah. And she goes, well, he's a scammer. I go, what are you talking about? She explains the whole thing. Now, I never lost any money. I never sent any money, but she was explaining this to me. And I was just like, oh my God. So I got home, Googled his picture, and it came up, it said a scammer across them saying this is a scammer.
Wow.
And what it is these guys steal these pictures offline and pretend to be these guys. So this kept happening because then I went to Our Time and then Plenty of Fish, which is the biggest
All right,
one.
now repeat those websites again.
Match.com,
Match.com.
Our Time, which is for people, older people, and then Plenty of Fish. And I refer to it as Plenty of Fakes because that's where I got a whole bunch of them. And I would just share these text messages with my hairdresser. I was like, nobody's going to believe this stuff these guys are saying. And so I'd always wanted to start a blog. And this was my way in to start a blog. So I started just posting the screenshots of these conversations because nobody's going to believe the love bombing and the garbage.
Okay,
that
so
they
you
say.
we've got these legitimate websites
Yeah.
for people who want to meet and
Yeah.
maybe develop a relationship, but
Right.
you have these, bottom feeders?
Predators.
They're catfishing.
Yes.
They're
yes.
catfishing.
Wow.
How about that one, Mark?
Ooh, that's good.
And they're on these legitimate websites
Yeah.
trying to not have a relationship, but get what?
Well, sweet talk you, make you fall in love with them, and eventually they will ask you for money or gift cards or send them an iPhone, stuff like that. And I mean, they for a very vulnerable woman, someone who I don't like the word gullible. I hate that word
Mhm.
because they're just lonely.
Mhm.
Most of them are older, my age, heavy. I'm not heavy, I'm voluptuous. But
There you
but it's like that's who they target. And if you're someone that has not heard all this love talk and sweet talk.
So can you give us an example of some of this love talk and sweet talk? So, because we have people who are listening and they're like, do they say, I love you
Yeah.
or you're gorgeous or blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
What do they
yeah.
say?
Most of it depends who you're talking to. A lot of them will stretch it out to like, sweet talk. They'll be like, oh gosh, like the first message I might get would be, hey, beautiful. Hey, gorgeous. Hey, sexy. I had a good one the other day. I can't remember it. And it's just that it starts out like that. So to me, that's your first red flag.
Right.
And then they'll just, they get this poems and sweet talk somewhere, as I found out later where it comes from.
Cut and paste.
Yeah. Yeah. They actually have a playbook, which we can
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about later. But just, oh, you're just so beautiful. Like the first guy, I can't believe of all the men in St. Louis aren't just wanting to be with you, and they're very slick about it.
Thick.
Yeah.
Laying it on thick.
Oh yeah. And from right now, my conversations, when I actually talk to them on the phone over an app, it's like within 30 seconds or a minute. Oh, I love you.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh yeah. The
Wow.
sweet talk, I always say, will give you a cavity. It's so bad. No, serious.
That's a great line.
It is, and it is true because some of them will lay it on so thick, and I'm right now I play along.
Now, are most of these guys not within the continental United States?
No, there are several countries, but the main one is Nigeria.
Really?
There's Middle East, there's China, there's India,
Oh my.
but the bulk of them that I've run into are Nigeria.
So
Have
they
you-
don't realize that most American men aren't going to hit off with that kind of line
No.
right away.
No.
Yeah.
Have you strung them along enough to where they start asking for money?
Oh yeah.
So you go for a while with them.
That's
Oh yeah. That's,
She toys with them, Mark. You should listen to her. Folks, she's got a YouTube channel
Yeah.
also, and it's it's Patsy PATSY 3919.
yeah. Oh yeah, because I
it's
do
a
pick
sport, right?
It is. It's become a sport and a hobby. I started out doing TikTok several years ago, like 4 years ago, but I didn't do a whole lot. And then I saw somebody who was reading their messages that they got from scammers. And I had all these audio conversations that I recorded that are on my YouTube. I thought, well, maybe I should start uploading them to TikTok. And when I did, I went from like 1,200 followers to almost 30,000 followers.
Wow.
And I do I'm not on TikTok right now because there's something wrong with the interface and I can't do lives real well on there. So I'm on Clapper, but I still post on TikTok. But I get people in there, they just want to listen to me mess with the scammers. And I do play along. I have a little mini Oscar my daughter bought when she was in LA a few years ago, and it says Best Mom. So I pull that out whenever I'm performing, and everybody give her an award, and I like hold up my, you can see all this on my videos. But I mean, I do play along, and when they ask for a gift card, I send them a fake one.
Do you?
With a receipt that one of my friends in California sent me. So, because they'll always say, we'll send the receipt, and I'll always be like, because I wear a blonde wig if I FaceTime them and I play dumb blonde. And I'm like, oh, I forgot the receipt. So somebody sent that to me and I send that to them. And then a little while later, they will come back. Oh, hon, it doesn't work. You need to go back to the store. And that's when I kind of lay in and I just say, I send all scammers fake gift cards because it makes me laugh. And then I start laughing. And then I go, and I know it makes you guys mad. And some will sit there. No, I'm not a scammer. Really. I have been lucky enough to get almost every one of them to finally admit. Now I had one guy who took a couple weeks recently, but I finally, can get them to admit it. Now I have others that will send me a Cash App. So I'll go to the Cash App, screenshot it. I had actually connected with Cash App on Instagram, and I had sent them these screenshots, and they're like, we appreciate this. We'll take it from there. And they're like, in the future, just report the Cash App. So I do that now. And then again, I come back, you're a scammer. And I am pretty hard on them sometimes, most of the time. Now, the ones that send me bank account numbers, those are my favorite.
Tell us
why.
why.
Yeah, because they think I'm going to, the one Prince of Dubai thought I was going to send him $25,000.
The Prince of Dubai.
Oh, I get so many fakes, Prince of Dubai. Most of mine now are from Instagram. Because I have a Plenty of Fish account still, but not much happens there. Mm-hmm. But all of mine are from Instagram. I have a Suzanne Sugar Baker account. That's my name that I use in the ugly blonde wig.
Suzanne
They follow me. I follow them back, and then they start the messaging. And so they will, make a donation to their orphanage, or for the Prince of Dubai, it's always the royal membership card so that I can go to Dubai, meet him and marry him and be his queen.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah.
Queen of Dubai.
Yeah. So anyway, when they give me bank account numbers, I save them. I have a form letter and I put a screenshot of the bank account numbers on the back and I send it to the bank. If it's a national chain and there's one in St. Louis, I just send it here. But a couple weeks ago, I had the most cool thing happen. I got bank account numbers and I try to contact the people because I have a White Pages subscription and a subscription to Ben Verified so that you can look up stuff.
Okay.
I found this one older lady, I think she was on the East Coast. We'll use the name Margaret because I wanted to put the audio out, but she was uncomfortable with that and I was fine with it. So we called her Margaret. And so I called, got the answering machine, and I start my little spiel. Hi, I'm Patsy. I educate on how not to fall for online romance scammers. This is what's going on. She picked up the phone. We were on the phone about 20 minutes. I have my group inboxes on TikTok, if you're familiar. Mm-hmm. The one girl's husband is a vice president of a bank. I go get Mr. Suzanne, we call him. I go get him in here. We talked to her, explained to her everything that was going on. What happened was somebody contacted her about donating to an orphanage, and she gave them the bank account numbers.
Oh my.
So basically this guy was using her account to send money there. And I'm not sure how that works, but they guess they would get it out and send it to another account, which is kind of like money laundering. Right. They call them money mules. Right. And so this lady is like our new best friend. She is just so appreciative. She's just like, oh my God, you're just like an angel. And I mean, it's that kind of stuff. It gives me goosebumps. And I love hearing that.
yeah.
I know I help people, but to hear from her that I actually did help her. So she went to the bank the next day, closed out her account, went to Social Security, make sure that's all okay.
Uh-huh.
And I have to check in with her. I haven't checked in a while.
Wow.
But I mean, that was one of those instances that it's like, we really help people.
Yep.
And I know I do because I get messages.
And that's great. And identity
Oh,
theft is one thing, but when you've been scammed like that and you're expecting, you know, your emotions are being tugged at, and like you said, there's people have a need
Mhm.
that they're trying to get met, and whether it's, you know, just
Yeah.
conversing or, you know, wanting to have somebody in their life like that, and then somebody's just really trying to rob them.
I've
a
heard
lot
of
things.
people like sending $30,000, losing $100,000. It's remarkable to me that somebody could be sucked in like that to
Well-
where you lose that kind of money when you haven't even met someone.
In 2023, romance scams cost Americans $904 million, according
Wow.
to the Federal Trade Commission.
Wow.
In Missouri, 366 people lost $11.4 million,
Holy.
according to FBI data analyzed by Social Catfish.
Yeah. And you know, to relate to the part about how you feel lonely and you feel all that.
Mhm.
In the because I'm 62, and in the 80s, this is something I could have fallen for. Because, oh my God, I felt like everybody was getting married but me. And
Yeah.
I want to get married. And, you know, which is
Right.
probably how I ended up with an idiot ex-husband. But I have a wonderful daughter. So,
That's something
but no,
good came out of
I can partially relate to how they feel
Mhm.
because that's how I felt back then. But
Right.
it was as I get older, I got a whole lot wiser. And I don't really need a man in my life. I got too much going on. I work full time and I do this, you know.
And sometimes things happen at different points in people's lives. Like
Right.
maybe somebody's widowed
Mhm.
and they've had
Yes.
a very good relationship with the deceased person,
Uh-huh.
and you know they're very vulnerable at that point, and that's when these people are the
Predators.
most effective. Or when you have a financial issue going on, I'll help you. We'll refinance your house or something like that, or take money out on your house, but you got to send me X, Y, and Z. So,
Yeah.
yeah, well, this is Arnold Strick with Mark Langston of St. Louis and Tune. We're talking to Patsy Roach. She's an author, blogger, podcaster, and speaker, and she speaks about getting scammed via dating scams. And her website is pinkladyagainstscammers.com, pinkladyagainstscammers.com. Now, you talked about a playbook that people, you know, they have their little shtick.
It's on my website. It's a
Okay.
PDF file. I finally found it last year.
Okay.
You found it. So it's out there. For,
Yeah, it's somebody said it's
How
on
to be a
Amazon.
scammer.com.
Yeah, somebody said it,
101.
Right.
somebody said it was on Amazon. I didn't find it on Amazon.
Get your boiler room
I
spiel.
finally found it. I had to sign up with a service to get it. Well, no, it was a 30-day trial, so I didn't have to
Okay,
pay anything
Okay.
to get this to the PDF so I could get it.
Yeah,
so I
right.
have it out there for any. I share it everywhere.
Oh my.
Um, it's called.
What
You're
a-
gonna love this. It's how to make a white woman fall in love with you from online chat. I should have brought it.
Wow.
I can email it to you.
Wow.
It's all the sweet talk. I use it back on them. I have it printed out, coil bounded on my desk.
Right.
I read from it, I sing from it, and I cannot sing.
Oh my.
But these guys think I sing beautifully,
Oh,
you know. But it's like all the sweet talk lines, all the stuff that they should say.
Wow. Wow.
It's insane.
I would love to see it.
It's
I
insane.
would. I'd love
But-
to see it.
I have a picture of it when I hold it up and show them. Do you got your playbook? Let's get it out and read it together. Some will be, I don't know what you're talking about. And others will be, where did you get that?
Oh.
When you like to know. And I'm
Yeah.
sharing it with everybody.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I pulled it up, folks. Your hiking pictures are always amazing. Where's the best place to go around here?
Oh no.
I've been dying to get into rollerblading. It looks so fun. Gosh.
Oh my.
yeah, but it's like a lot of, like my favorite one is,
Do you have a sunburn or are you always this hot?
yes. One of my favorites is, if the world was made of chicken, you would be a hot wing. And I say it like that.
Ooh. Oh no.
Well, that's not even very good.
No, it's
Calling
not.
somebody a chicken?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
A hot
No,
wing to
I
begin
know.
with there?
Yes.
it's not.
Wow. My gosh.
Ugh.
I never believed in love at first sight until I saw your profile picture. These are not even really good.
No, they're not.
No,
So they go through this.
that's the tool that they use.
Really?
One of the things when you first meet them is have you eaten? They'll say, have you eaten today?
What?
Yeah.
They ask you that.
They'll say, oh, have you eaten today?
No,
Yeah. And I make up some
I'm missing something here.
obscure food that I have that I know they've never heard, and I can't say it on here.
I've
But
had calamari. I've had fried calamari.
but it's so that they can establish a relationship with you. My
Gotcha.
one friend told me
Right.
they're interested in, oh, well, what you eat
Oh.
today?
Oh, I eat that.
I don't
too.
even ask my daughter that, but
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
It's stuff. Don't get stressed. That's a big thing. They'll tell you now, I hope you're not, because I tell them I'm a doctor, which I'm not. And I do vasectomies and other things. And, they'll be like, oh, I don't think they know what it is, but, and I'll just, they're like, oh, I hope I hope today wasn't stressful. I'm like, no, it's never stressful.
Yeah.
Trying to think some of the other crazy stuff,
Ay, ay, ay.
but have you eaten? That's the big one.
Really?
Yeah. Have you eaten?
Now, do they send pictures? Do they do a video exchange with you?
Well-
Most of this is on an app right away.
Yeah,
right?
it's-
Is it
yeah,
like
because-
texting?
Yeah. Cause I'm not on Instagram. I move over to another app, which I tell people don't do because at least on Instagram, there's a record of it. But if you go over to say Zangie, I use 3 of them. When I'm done with them and I block them, I can delete the conversation on both sides
Uh-huh.
and it's in the abyss. It's gone forever.
Ah.
So because I have that, Signal, and Telegram. And the only reason I take them over there is I can get away with saying more stuff that I can't on Instagram because
Interesting.
Instagram's more monitored. So not that I'm bad.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Those are your leading them on apps.
yes. So
Reverse scammer.
I'm always open to video chatting. I put on my blonde wig and my dark rimmed glasses and I talk to them. I used to do a Southern accent all the time. And then I switched to kind of more of a terrible New York accent. I've got to drink some coffee. Okay. What are you doing? What do you mean? I don't know if it's between Vinnie Barbarino or Joey from Friends or what,
You should have got an Academy Award.
but I fake cry, I do all the emotions,
Wow.
and then when I get off there, we all just laugh like crazy, and, but it's, the way I do it is a lot of fun and I take what I do very seriously, but people need to hear how they talk to you
Right.
and how quickly they fall in love and will ask for a gift card. The one guy that I was telling you about that I had a hard time finally getting him to admit he was a scammer. This went on for several weeks. I have the series posted. I'm up to part 13. I have to break it up. But I mean, the one which I'm trying to find that one is where he just basically was having a meltdown because I just kept calling and being an annoying person, which I'm very good at. And so I just kept calling him and finally he's, leave me alone, stop calling me. But I've got to find that video to put out. But I just kept saying, you're a scammer. You're a scam. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I get told I'm mad. I said, yes, I am. You're crazy. Yes, I'm certified crazy. Yes, I am.
Mhm. I agree.
And finally, the one night this guy broke, he showed me himself and he finally, because I'm like, I have not had a scammer that didn't finally admit to me.
Wow.
It's my superpower.
You
maybe.
break them down.
But this guy was, I said, I'm not giving up.
I don't want people to think, that Patsy's doing this, making fun of people or
Right.
leading them on or having a game with them. This is actually, frankly, it's a service that you're
Oh, yeah.
doing to prevent other people from getting caught up into this
Mhm.
stuff. You're actually providing some baseline information
Yeah.
to give to people who might get taken. In the book, it's called "I Want You," which is X'd out your money, a collection of stories about online romance scams. And it's, to me, I don't want people to get the wrong impression that, you're having fun at somebody else's expense. No, they're having they're making money at other people's emotional and financial expense,
Mhm.
and you're just drawing them out and you're exposing them. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
And that's one of the things. If I feel like I'm very conscious of not hurting people's feelings.
Mhm.
I know 2 people in Nigeria. I met them on TikTok. They're
Mhm.
wonderful men. They're legitimate. They're real. The one actually moved to Canada for school.
Mhm.
He's a clothing designer. And the other guy is a comedian. So, and I do every once in a while, somebody will ask me, well, you do know there's nice people over there. I said, yes, I do. I don't want people to think the whole country is bad.
Right, right.
Every country has their issues,
Absolutely.
you know.
Our country has a lot of these scammers too.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
You know, and they just
Yes.
maybe know the game a little bit differently.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about scammers and how they work. This is the Pink Lady Against Scammers. She shows women and men how not to fall for online romance scammers. I'd like to find out about the men portion about that. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. We'll be right back. As strange as it may sound, at Better Rate Mortgage, we love talking to people about mortgages. Everyone in St. Louis promises a better mortgage rate, but what you really need to turn that perfect house into your dream home is a better mortgage. At Better Rate Mortgage, we open the door to so much more. So where are you in the home buying process? Researching? Maybe wondering how much you can afford? House hunting? Get a pre-approval from Better Rate Mortgage. Ready to buy? Our team is ready to make your mortgage process fast and easy. Whether you're purchasing your first home or taking cash out to make your dream home even dreamier, our door is open. Come on in and get started today. We'll show you how. Call Sean directly at 314-375-3293 or online at betterratemortgage.com. Remember, at Better Rate Mortgage, a better rate is just the beginning. betterratemortgage.com. NMLS ID 44. Welcome back to St. Louis in Tune. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston. We're talking to Patsy Roach. She is the Pink Lady Against Scammers.com, pinkladyaGainstScammers.com, and her book, I Want You, which is X'd Out Your Money, a collection of stories against online romance scams, can be found on Amazon.com. And it is a detailed exploration of the methods scammers used to exploit emotions and finances. And we're talking about people who are generally older women, widows, maybe on Social Security. But you also mentioned that men get taken on these things. Are there a lot of women scammers out there too?
Sometimes it's men pretending to be women.
Really?
Yeah, but I have a friend who was scammed, and that's how he got into doing his thing on TikTok. His tag is Coastal Cowboy 79. He and I really play well back and forth when we're on TikTok. He's a truck driver and he lives in one of the Carolinas. I can't remember which. And so he's not on as often, but he was scammed. You know, he was talking to someone online.
Like the Russian Bride or something
Oh,
like
I got
that?
a good one for that. I have a
That's
story
gonna
for
be
everything.
Good show.
But yeah, he, thought he was helping someone. I think it was a couple $1,000s. And you would not believe that if you met him, because he's it happens to anybody.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter how smart or not vulnerable you are, it happens. But he got scammed out of a couple $1,000s. He thought he was helping somebody, and then he found out later it was a scam, and so he's kind of I guess he calls himself a scam baiter, which is kind of what I do to a sense. But I'm trying to get people, this is how they sound, this is what they say, don't believe that.
Right.
We always say they don't love you, they love your money. And Cowboy always says, when in doubt, block them out. You shouldn't have to pay for love.
Wow.
Good.
I like all this. This
Right.
is all right on.
Yeah.
I have a friend. It's hard to believe I have a friend. I have a guy friend, and he just recently has been telling me, yeah, I've been talking to this girl in Miami and she wants to come up and visit me. And I'm like, you're not going to send her any money for a ticket. No, I'll reimburse her when she gets here. I said, well, we'll see how that goes. I go, are you sure this is like on the up and up? I'm having trouble talking to a friend of mine and trying to shake sense into him.
Well,
Yeah.
and even on the
and it's for
legitimate
real. I'm
dating,
like, wow.
dating apps,
Yeah.
people I don't know. Maybe they say that you can't post fake pictures. You must
Oh, yeah.
put a real picture on
How are
there.
you gonna
But
monitor
how are
that?
you going to know?
Yeah.
How are these people? These places
Well,
are not even local.
Right now, there's Senate Bill 841 that Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee and somebody else has gotten through committee, and then it just has to go through the House and Senate. But it's to go after online dating sites.
Yay.
Now, the bill is very short. It's 11 pages, but to me, it's like reading IKEA instructions. It's just kind of hard to digest, but
Mhm.
they are finally, but they're only going after that. It's not just online dating, it's other social media because they're Facebook, TikTok,
Right.
LinkedIn. I get guys on TikTok that follow me. I'm like, I recognize that guy's picture. He's a scammer. Chris Evans followed me. I know that's not Chris Evans.
Yeah. Chris Pratt, Prince Harry, Prince Andrew, and Billy Idol
Really?
have contacted
Oh,
Patsy
my.
about dating.
Wow.
My favorite is when they try to do a video. I remember the Billy Idol video. I'm a big Billy Idol fan. And I remember
I wouldn't know. by
this
the picture.
video is terrible. It's grainy. And the lips, and you can't hear anything. Or if they do talk, I know what Billy Idol sounds like.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't sound Nigerian. I had a Chris Pratt, Prince of Dubai. I mean, it's now the one thing you got to watch out for now is artificial intelligence.
Right.
Oh,
I had a
Good
fake
point.
Chris Evans do a video with Chris Evans' voice to me, which is out on all my social media. Now, if you weren't educated about that, you would think this is the actual Chris Evans. I know it's not. I may think the man is like the most perfect man in the world, but he's not going to contact little old me, as any celebrity. And I always tell people, because they want to sell you the fan card so you can have 24/7 access.
Mm.
No, that's
Mm.
not going to happen.
Wow.
Or even the royal membership card for royalty.
Yeah.
No.
Give us some of those kind of
Love
clues.
these
So
angles.
what we want to do is kind of put this information in people's heads, because when they hear it, then they'll go, I remember hearing that on St. Louis in Tune. And Patsy was talking about that. Red flags go up.
Yeah.
So the royal membership card.
The royal membership card, that's all the fake princes of Dubai.
Okay.
And they'll start talking to you and they'll say, well, in order for us to meet, you need to buy the royal membership card, which could be anywhere from $1,000 on up.
Okay.
And, when you get this, I've even had fake applications,
Wow.
which I think I have posted. You fill out, I have fake names that I put out, and my address is 1313 Mockingbird Lane, which is the Munsters address.
Yes.
And then I do
I know that
but
address.
New York, and then I use the zip code for Beverly Hills 90210. So if these guys don't know and they try to Google it, they're not going to find anything. And then I never use my name. So, and again, I wear my wig because I don't I don't want to reveal my identity. If they really wanted to find me, they probably could,
So
but
that they could get the 24/7 access to the
celebrity are the princes. I've had the
Mhm.
England princes as well.
Okay. What other kinds of things do they do? Send me money so I can pay the ticket to come see you and visit you, kind of deal?
Well, for like some of the celebrities, like Chris Evans, the one time, I have this orphanage that I'm helping. Would you like to, or whatever
make
the
a
charity of
donation.
the day is, and
Really tug on people's heartstrings.
yeah, and any celebrity, not just my cougar crush Chris Evans. It's any celebrity, and if they're, oh my God, they're contacting me,
Right.
And again, one of the main things that we'll look for when you're texting or messaging them is the grammar
Mhm.
and the misspelling.
Mhm.
I'm a secretary. So when I'm trying to read these on my lives every night, it gives me a headache because I'm so anal when it comes to correct writing
Right.
and that,
Right.
so it's just, and then I try to read it and I go, look, I'll just post it. I can't read it's all the same stuff,
Yeah.
but the grammar's terrible. They never say, oh, hi, my name is Patsy. They'll say, hi, am Patsy. That's a big thing. I get, because sometimes I'll go back and say, am Suzanne,
Right.
but it's the grammar. The first greeting would be hello, pretty, hello, gorgeous, any kind of sweet. When you first meet a guy, they're not going to say that. You're lucky if they'll say your name. They'll be like, hi, hey,
Right.
not to insult men. I
What's
am
up?
not.
Oh, yeah.
I am not.
It's all right.
But they're not going to, hey, sweetie, hey, beautiful. That's not going to be until probably a ways down the road,
Right, right.
know.
One that really is hitting a lot of grandparents is they'll get a phone call that the grandchild has been in an accident or
Oh,
something,
yeah. Yeah,
or they pretend
that
that they're
one.
the grandchild. And hey, I need money. I'm caught in Mexico or some foreign country. Can you wire me some money?
Mhm.
Blah 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 blah. And they always tell people, "What's the family word?"
Yeah, you have to have like a code
Code
word.
word, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are some other pointers that you would give people to avoid, like whether it comes through email? I got a text one this morning, matter of fact, and I constantly get, and they always go to my spam file on my email.
Yeah.
They constantly come that way, like you've won this prize and blah, blah, blah. These aren't dating kinds of things, but what are things people should actually look for, Patsy?
Well, where I worked in the IT department for 12 years. So I learned a lot there. Like when you get an email, look at the extension. Okay, if Best Buy is sending you an email, it'll say bestbuy.com.
Mhm.
It's not going to say Best Buy Gmail.
Right.
You know, you got to look at those kind of things. Don't click on links. I mean, that's a big thing they instill in us where I work. You don't click on links, and we get tested every month.
Because what could happen? Tell people.
Well, what could happen is then when you click on it, they can get access to your computer
Mhm.
or your phone
Mhm.
and do some major damage. I don't know if anybody saw the Jason Statham movie. It was last year, The Beekeeper.
Yes.
And he was working for a lady. When I went and saw the movie, I didn't know what it was about. I just went because I like Jason Statham.
I do too.
Yeah, I like action films. And so you find out that the lady that he works for, who has money for this foundation, like I think $1 million,
Yeah, a couple million.
and
right.
they get contacted and saying, "Hey, I need you to do this because your account's messed up. Put this code in." And she did, and all her accounts were wiped out.
Right.
And I think she committed suicide.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very bad. You never want to give out your passcodes, and the banks will tell you, we will not, like when you call, we will not ask for your passcode, just all that kind of stuff. But look at the emails, look at the extensions,
Right.
And I tell people, I put links in my emails, but I also say a lot of times, if you're uncomfortable, just Google this,
Right.
and you will find my webpage.
A lot of places ask for two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Too.
I do that on a lot of my
That's
stuff.
good.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's helps you be secure.
It does. I
Are there
know.
other kind of tips that you would recommend for people, whether they come in on phone, email, or however, or via the USPS?
The phone I have fun with, but if they call on my personal cell, I answer Ghostbusters, what do you want? From Annie Potts in the first. I like to mess with them.
Right.
City
morgue, you stab them, we slab them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I do is when I get spam calls, and ladies will send me numbers that scammers have sent them,
Oh.
I have an app number and we call them on
Mm.
my lives. And a lot of times you get voicemail and we all sing Soft Kitty from Big Bang Theory and leave that message. I have gotten a hold of a couple guys. Judy Diamond from 103.3 posted on her Facebook last year. Someone tried to scam her dad, and she put the phone numbers on there.
Wow.
And so I responded back to her. I said, "Oh, Judy, I'll take care of this." So that night we called, and the call is online, but it was weird because I'm looking this phone number up and it says Houston, Texas. He doesn't sound foreign. He sounds American. So they are here, some of them. And so I'm talking to him, but it's hard for me to talk to someone that might be real. I can talk to a scammer easily, and I'm just like tongue tied. I sound tongue tied, and I'm making up all this crazy stuff, and you can listen to it on my YouTube. But so I hung up and I'm like, that gave me the creeps, but then I had someone who could check on stuff like that. And he said, yes, these are people that were being watched by the FBI.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, and then I did call one more time a couple months later. And then just to be
couldn't help
honorary, because
yourself.
that's what I do.
Just check it in on you.
Yeah. And then it was some stupid thing. Oh, I'm taking up a collection for the Vasectomy Society. But then I blocked it since. But then I had sent all this to Judy. I said, here's the link. You can go listen to my call,
Patsy, are you ever concerned for your safety?
I take precaution. I have VPN, which is a virtual private network. I have that with the new antivirus software that I got.
Have you ever heard of any of these people retaliating against anyone? I have not.
Well, one thing
Not
I
that
do want to stress is please do not send inappropriate pictures to these guys because they will blackmail you.
Mm.
There was one young man last year or the year before who was 18, 19, thought he met this wonderful girl, sent pictures that he
Uh-huh.
shouldn't have. And they were blackmailing him. He got upset. He stepped in front of a train and killed himself.
Oh my gosh.
So you don't hear about that as often, but it that kind of stuff does happen. You know, some people do get really damaged by this.
Right.
And I'm always willing to talk to anybody. I always say, I can't get your money back. Nobody can. That's another story. I'm a good listener, believe it or not. I do listen when I'm not talking. And then I will definitely make you laugh because I always say laughter's the best medicine.
Right.
And then at the end of the call, I'm going to remind you that you're a phenomenal and wonderful person. I'm very big on uplifting both men and women, but I deal mostly with women.
Mhm.
I want them to know you're worth everything. You're
Right.
wonderful. You're fantastic. But the hacker thing, you will see guys, and I see these on my videos on TikTok and on Instagram. They'll say, "Oh, I'm Hacker Bob and I can get your money back." And I actually went as far on Instagram to play with the guy just to see,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I lost $5,000. And they do all this, you know, oh, here's screenshots of this. And, you know, and he goes, okay, we've located it. I just need 250 in Bitcoin to buy the software.
Oh yeah.
You're a software guy. You're a hacker. You should have all the software,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
so we tell everybody they cannot get your money back. And I have people posting on there, oh, Hacker Joe got my money back. I delete it.
Uh-uh.
You know, I go through and delete I try to go through comments every day because I tell everybody, don't believe it. That's a scammer pretending like he can get your money back, but he's a scammer.
Right. Different kind of scammer.
Yeah.
If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
AI, you mentioned AI. That's going to be a real problem down the road. And, you know, I hate to say this, that, you know, the government kind of needs to get some kind of grip on what's going on,
Yeah.
because you got people who are putting faces on other people
Yeah.
and creating bodies and
Yeah.
creating voices, and the Chris Pratt thing that you were talking
Chris
about.
Evans.
Chris Evans, excuse me.
And Prince of Dubai. And yeah.
So it's crazy.
That's-
What do people do if they have received something like this? Rather, you know, I think Mark and I, and you probably do too, delete a lot of them. But should people report, or if they've been scammed, or who do they report to?
There-
If you've been scammed and you sent money, you need to report it to the FBI. You can go to ic3.gov. They collect all the information. They're not going to get your money back, but it's important to report it.
I see.
I don't
three.
want to give misleading information, but from what I understand is if it's all maybe the stories are all similar, they may be able to
Right.
break it down to, okay, it's might be this area in Nigeria or, you know, but I always tell them, report it. It's a lot of questions. Keep receipts, keep all your messages, keep any kind of communication, pictures, even though the pictures are stolen, any and everything that you have, keep it, and then you'll report it there.
Even if it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and I tell people, I said, I know this is embarrassing, and I talk about this on my live. I'll say, I know this is hard for you, and you feel stupid, because the one person I talk to, I feel so stupid. And I always say, I understand that, but don't. See, you know the game now. Now you can go out and help other people.
Exactly.
You
I
know.
was thinking the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Because I get this question a lot. My mother's being scammed, but she won't believe me.
Right.
And I'm like, I send all the documents that I gave you guys. This says everything. Sit down with them.
Uh-huh.
But they still don't want to believe. And I don't think anybody has an answer.
Right.
I always say, unfortunately, it's probably like an alcoholic. You got to hit rock bottom
Right.
before they will realize that.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it breaks my heart, but it's like, I'm happy to talk to them, but I don't think they'll listen to me either.
But
You know.
most of these are from out of town, I guess. The scammers, they sound when they communicate. Are there any that are like in St. Louis? Are they represent themselves as to be in your own hometown?
Well, plenty of fish, because on the profiles it'll say St. Louis, and then but then you find out, well, I'm not. Well, actually, I'm I'm on an oil rig. That's another
Gotcha.
dude. You know,
I'm
on
from
an oil
St.
rig.
Louis, but I'm on an
But
oil
then
rig.
when you
Okay.
ask them, oh, what high school did you go to? Because, you know, that's the St. Louis question.
Right.
And it takes them a while to answer because they got to Google a high school. And then when the one guy said a high school, I had to Google it myself. Okay, is this real? You know, and it was a real high school, but
Yeah.
he probably Googled it.
Right.
When it takes them a long time to answer a question, that's a big thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm.
Wow.
This is
Folks, we want you to check out Patsy's podcast. She does a podcast also, and the website is pinkladyagainst.scammers.com. You can follow her on TikTok. She's on Instagram. You can hear her on Amazon Music, Apple, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Stitcher, and the 2023 voted best podcast for the Riverfront Times.
how often do you do the podcast? Weekly, monthly? Whenever you can.
I didn't do much the beginning of the year because I had a booth in February at the Working Woman Survival Show. So the last couple months I was all focused on that, but we finally started back. My first guest was in a couple weeks ago was a gentleman named Gypsy. He is a guy who's in the Army National Guard. He's also educating on TikTok, and people use his photograph. He's always doing videos. He always starts his videos, hello, my beautiful people. And he'll say, look, there's this out there. I don't follow you. Okay. If you get a message from me, it's not me, you know? So his pictures get used, you know? And
so your library of podcasts are just they're not time sensitive, I guess.
No, I want to get better at it because I have a co-host now. It's a girl I met on TikTok. We've become really good friends. She's my co-host now. Last year, I had two ladies who had been scammed. The one was a lady in her 70s. She found me, wanted to come on my podcast and tell the story. And then there was another guy who found me again. He had been on the Tamron Hall show in 2019. He had been scammed by a Russian mafia bride. Now,
For real?
normally keep my podcast at 30 minutes, but that one was an hour and a half to 2 hours because nothing could be cut. And then he sent me all these pictures and I put them on my website so that you could see, you know,
Wow.
I mean, it was just an incredible story. The other girl, Beth Hyland, she's been doing a lot of advocating. She's a girl younger than me, got scammed, you know, college educated. And I guess when she went to her financial advisor to get money, he was the one that said, I think you're being scammed. So she is a prime example of someone who got scammed and is fighting it now. She posts all the time on LinkedIn. She's going to come back to my podcast because she has a book coming out.
Okay.
And so I said, you got to come back. We want to talk to you again and promote your book.
Yeah,
I'm good at promoting people on there. I have no problem, you know.
And you're doing a service for people. Patsy's book is I Want You / Your Money, a collection of stories against online romance scams. Check it out on Amazon, folks.
It's hard to believe for me that a well-educated man or woman can get scammed like this. I mean, I don't know why the bells and whistles don't go off. You know, the red flags go up, the pink flags.
Yes.
But,
yeah. No, I agree. It is hard to understand, you know. But
were you ever sucked into this whole thing?
No,
not even.
I don't have money.
Once. Yeah,
I don't have money, and
You
I don't even like to give it to my daughter.
You
know, and she knows this.
Did you hear that, girl?
Yeah, she knows. But no, I've never. You know, I get asked that a lot. I said, no, this was something that just came on.
It's a calling for you.
I love the movie Julie and Julia, which is the story of Julie Powell, who was the blogger who cooked all of Julia Child's recipes. It's Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, Amy Adams. And that was the reason I wanted to start blogging. And when this opportunity came, it's like I have to jump on it, you know, and it's really been quite a ride. It's, you know, I still put stuff on there, but mostly it's videos now and conversations so you can hear these idiots, you know.
It's very interesting. I did watch some of the videos. It's very interesting.
I would love to see some of those videos.
Well, we want you to stick around.
Sure.
Okay. But we're grateful that you came on the show. And, you know, I got Patsy's contact information. She emailed the show, Mark.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I do a lot of emailing. Can I toot my horn about one thing?
Please
toot away.
So I did a lot of letter emailing and stuff. And I heard back from the Tamron Hall show. So I might be on the Tamron Hall show in the fall.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just finishing up their season, and the lady said, "But we'd like to talk to you in August."
If you
Okay,
if you need a reference, let us know.
Yeah,
Well, thank
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
KSDK has done an interview with
Yes,
you.
I've been with them a couple times. Yeah,
And the Working Women's show.
that was fabulous. And it was funny because my interview on Channel 5 came out, and then the next day was the Working Woman show.
Oh, perfect.
And people
timing.
were like, "I saw you on TV."
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, I got a
Yeah.
lot of people, women just coming up telling me their stories.
Yeah.
I did a lot of hugging. I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
Aw.
And people just sharing their stories. A
Right.
couple people asked, "Well, would you come
Right.
out and talk to places?"
That's important too.
Just tell me. I don't charge.
Right.
I'm not in this for money. But I'll be happy to. So I'm waiting to hear back from some of them. Some of them more towards till the
Yeah.
fall. But it was just my daughter and her friend came, and we just had a blast. They spent all my money, but
Oh,
I had to
she
pay
did
them.
manage to
They
get
gave
some
up.
money out of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
they gave up 3 days, got up early. I made my daughter drive
Oh,
because it's at the St. Charles Convention Center.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just met, and people were just so appreciative. And
uh-huh.
I gave out all kinds of stuff. I gave koozies, bracelets, all kinds of headbands.
I think it's
Um,
great.
The
The-
bag that you got, which had everything in it.
The
except for book-
information's extremely valuable.
It is.
Yeah.
Extremely
It's even
valuable.
fun reading. I know.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Thank you for
amazing
coming on.
that's
Thank you so
happening.
much.
Our word of the day is scammer, Mark.
Is it?
As in cheat, a dishonest person who uses clever means to cheat others out of something of value. And here are some synonyms: chiseler, fake, bilker, sham, imposter, charlatan, trickster, faker, quack, rogue, scamster, defrauder, fraudster, double dealer, double crosser, slickster, plotter, quacksalver, wheeler dealer.
I'm going to borrow those.
Yeah, really. Yeah, she needs a list.
Here you go.
Thank you. I'm going to borrow those.
She's got a list now. Another list.
You can use some of those ones that we can't even
Oh, my
pronounce.
God.
Yeah.
They're probably British.
They probably are.
You have some days of the day. Is today the scamming day of the
I
year? or
was
something?
hoping, sometimes that happens. No, it's National Apple Pie Day. Do you like
Mm.
apple pie? Not a big
My
fan.
wife
I'm
makes a
not.
great apple pie.
Does she? I'd
Have
have
to
to
get
try
you
it because
one.
I am not a big fan of apple pie.
I never was either until I had hers.
Is that right?
Yep.
She made you a believer.
Yes, she did.
National Fruit Cocktail Day. You like fruit cocktail? That might fall into what you're talking about. Cough drop day. Our Congress can't get this. What is it? Number 841 or whatever.
Oh, Senate Bill 841.
Yeah, I can't get that passed, but they've got cough drop day. Okay.
What?
Fair Trade Day. I don't know who you need to tell that to, but somebody. National Crouton Day. Do you like croutons?
Love croutons.
Do you? I do too. Sometimes I eat them right out of the bag.
Guilty.
Me too. I'm guilty as
Ooh.
Yeah.
charged.
And then
as
my
well.
daughter's, where's the croutons? I don't know.
I eat them all. I've been finding different types.
Yeah.
Which are pretty good. National Frog Jumping Day.
Ooh, frog jumping.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a pan.
Yeah. Ooh, frog legs. I'm not a big frog leg fan. This scares me. National Leprechaun Day. Leprechauns have always scared me. There was a movie out about leprechauns,
Yeah.
and I did not.
I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
he was a scary little leprechaun man. I didn't like him again. Receptionist Day. Let's see. Bond with your dog day.
Mm,
You got to bond with your dog.
all the time.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah. Every time you pick
You
that
rub
up.
you rub his ears.
Yeah.
You rub her ears, whichever
Uh-huh.
gender dog you have, and it helps them. It makes them. It's like this high.
All right. It's a dance like a chicken day. That's right. Let's relive fond memories and dance like a chicken. Okay. I think I don't know if there's a whole lot more that I could National Night Shift Workers Day.
Mm.
Have you ever been a night shift worker?
I've been an evening shift worker.
Now that goes with third shift workers
right,
day.
that would be third shift workers day. Yeah.
But they got them both on the same, like one's a,
One wants to call it night shift, and the other one wants to call it third shift.
Oh, so you get that. Okay. National Travel Insurance Claims Day.
Oh, gosh.
There's a scam. It just, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. Online Romance Day.
That's
Oh.
it.
Hold it. We got it. We
That's
got it.
it.
Oh,
Join us as we celebrate virtual love on this special Online Romance Day.
Ooh.
This is online, and this is for positive. It really, because I know someone who actually had an online romance and it worked out.
I've had a couple on my podcast in the beginning who met their spouses because I didn't want it to sound like I'm dogging.
right,
I'm
right,
not. I just tell people be safe on there and be smart.
right,
Right.
right.
Yeah, I know somebody that's probably going to get married, and I'm like, wow, where'd you all meet? Oh, we met
Online,
online.
yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It worked. so
It does
can,
work.
It can. It
Yeah.
can
It
work. It
does.
does work. Be careful, but yeah, especially if they're live in St. Louis, but they're, out of town right now.
On an oil rig.
Right. Send me money so I can get back off this oil rig. The helicopter's coming. I got to go. Okay. That's all I got.
You know, if you come to my house, bring a coat or a blanket because my air is set on morgue.
Ooh.
I don't want to party like it's 1999. I want to shop like it's 1999.
Wow. He's bad.
I think I have like a.
I'm sorry we didn't run out of time, Patsy.
Common sense is not a gift; it is a punishment because you have to deal with everyone who doesn't have it.
That horse gets in here.
When your children are teenagers, it's important to have a dog so that someone in the house is happy to see you. My wife called to tell me she saw a fox on the way to work. I asked her how she knew it was on its way to work, and she hung up on me.
Oh, no.
My ducks are absolutely not in a row. I don't even know where some of them are, and I'm pretty sure one of them is a pigeon.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that's a tough room.
You know, I don't understand how a cemetery can raise its funeral prices and blame it on the cost of living.
My God. Oh, wow. You are really bad.
If you can make someone's day, you should.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is a good statement. It's not a funny. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails.
Oh, yeah. That's good advice for a change.
And some other things that sometimes their behavior is the answer you need. That's a good one for our discussion today.
I think that works.
Another one is sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you.
That's right.
There is a reason why some people are not in your life anymore.
Oh boy, I could
mercy.
think of a
Let's see
couple
here.
of reasons.
How about this one?
Uh-oh, there's more.
We'll stop here. Politicians should wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR drivers. Then we know who owns them.
That's pretty scary.
It is very scary.
I know it.
Folks, we want you to go back and re-listen to this at some point and check out Patsy Roach's PinkLadyAgainstScammers.com website. That's all for this show and this hour, and we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. You can listen to additional shows at stlintune.com. Consider leaving a review on our website, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and continue to grow. We want to thank Bob Berthasell for our theme music, our sponsor, Better Rate Mortgage, and our guest, Patsy Roach, also co-host Mark Langston. And folks, we thank you for being a part of our community of curious minds. St. Louis in Tune is a production of Motif Media Group and the U.S. Radio Network. Remember to keep seeking, keep learning, walk worthy, and let your light shine. For St. Louis in Tune, I'm Arnold Stricker.